Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to make this dollar origami dress. I figured since we had all the male attire that I would go ahead and make a dress to go along with it. In this video, this will be the slow tutorial, so I will be going very slowly, showing step by step how to make each fold. So this video should be easy to follow along with, but you do still have the option to pause the video and restart at will if I go too fast. So let's get started. What we're going to do is we're going to take the single dollar bill, and I need to section out the center portion about the width of the word one here. Since I'm going to be using the $1 bill, this is going to be appropriate. Now, if you're not exactly spaced out the same way, that's okay. This will still work. This is a matter of taste. You can find all kinds of modifications to this. But I'm going to show you exactly how I made this bill. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this face down, and I'm going to fold this up until I see the top of the 1. And then I want to leave the 1 down. So when I see the 1, I'm going to back off just until I close that. Then I'm going to line up the sides, and then I will crease this down. I'm going to put a good crease on this. So we have a fold right at the top. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I need to fold this back down, but I only want about 1 or 2 millimeters of space here. So I'm going to, and again, the thickness is relative. It's, you could be a little off, that's fine. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it to right under where it says "In God We Trust." So that's where I'm going to fold this back, but I'm going to try and keep it even all the way across the length of the bill. You'll find that when you're making these small folds that this can be a little tricky. So I'm going to make my first fold in the center, then I'm going to guesstimate that same size here at the end. So I'm going to say it's about that thickness. I'll pinch that down. Then what I'll do is I'll hold it on the table, both of those, and I'm going to just kind of massage that down. And that should give me about that thickness. So I'm going to do the same on this side. I'm going to hold that down, and I will massage that. Then I'm going to crease that down really good. Fingernail. Okay, so oops, I'm going to recrease that. So at this point, this is what our dollar bill looks like. Just got a little crease in it. It's about even on both sides. We can check that by folding it down. Doesn't have to be too perfect. It looks like we're pretty good. Now what we need to do is we need to put a fold along the bottom part of the 1. So I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to find that 1. I'm going to back this off. Then I'm going to go to the edge. I'm going to make sure the edge is lined up with the paper. Then I will fold this down. Use my fingernail to put a good crease along this. Check my crease. Looks like we're pretty good here. Looks like we're actually a little high on this side, but that's not going to make a big difference, so I'm going to fix it anyway. Okay, so that looks better. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fold this back. So again, right about where the shadows of those words are, that's going to be my fold back. I'm going to fold the center first. Find that spot, I'll pinch that down. I'm going to go in here. And this should be about the same size as the one we made earlier. So I'll pinch that down. Hold this on the table. And I should be able to massage that down. Do the same to this side. Like that. Then I'm going to use my fingernails just to reinforce that, give that a good crease. So here's what we have so far. The one on our dollar is risen. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to fold this dollar in half, face side up. So we're going to fold the face together. Going to pinch that off at the bottom. Just like that. Then we're going to open it up. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this crease, this should be right about the middle of this end, and we're going to fold this up and collapse this just somewhere in the middle of this O. So I'm going to go right to the far side of the open of this O. I'll make sure we're lined up and we're straight, and then I'm going to pinch that down. Then I'm going to, right after this circle right here, so it doesn't really matter which side you're on, but if you're doing it the way I'm showing you, just to follow along, we're going to go right at the inner side of this circle, just like this. Fold that down. Put a good crease in there. Going to lift this. Then we're going to take this fold we made and I'm going to fold it right halfway on this pyramid. So I'm going to fold that in half. We're going to make sure that our dollar stays straight, or as straight as we can get it. And we will pinch that down. Okay, so this is our dollar. We have these two folds in it. They're fairly even. If you're a little off and this is twisted, that's not a big deal. You can kind of straighten this out and recrease that, just kind of get it a little straighter. Okay, so at this point what we're going to do is we're going to go to the bottom, and then right at the bottom of this circle, we're going to fold this back. So if I flip this over, bottom of this circle, fold this back, just like that. Keeping it straight, lined up there. Crease that down, so we don't want this to come up. This is going to be the bottom of our dress. It's going to be the waist, and this will be the bust area. Alright, this is where it gets fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to bend this back on both sides to form the waist and to shape the dress. This will also come up towards the torso area and give us our shoulders. So we're going to do this. So we're going to start with the build this way. Face this down on the table. Right here, where there's the one, I'm going to put a fingernail here because I'm going to stop the fold here. I'm going to take this first fold here and we're going to bend this up and fold it down. We're going to crease that down. So if I show you here, we just folded this piece up and I creased it down right to where that one is. We'll do it again on the other side just so you see. So I'm going to hold it here, going to bend this fold here up, and I will crease that down. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to fold this bottom part. I'm going to take this bottom crease and then fold it up towards the center, matching this corner to as far up as I get this. This should go about halfway. So I'm going to take this fold. I'm going to put my fingernail here at this corner because I don't want the fold to go any farther than that. And I'm going to twist it up. And I want this to go about halfway. Again, it's pretty subjective, so if you're not going quite halfway, it's not a problem. It's still going to work out. Okay, now I'm not going to cinch it down really good in case I have to make any adjustments. But I'm just going to get a fold. I will fold that down. And you can see this top part is going to fight you a little bit, and that's okay. You can just spread this out, fold that down, as long as we maintain our relative space up here. Okay, We're going to do the same to this side. So I'm going to face this down. I'm going to lift this whole part up. I'm going to do it this way first. So we're going to go about halfway. Keep this down. So we're going to spread this part out. This goes halfway. Fingernail here. So like this. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to flip this over just to check its symmetry. Make sure that this is about even on each side. So it looks like we have a little more white border showing on this side than we do on this side. So at this point we would decide which one do we want. We probably want the greater white. So we're going to fix this side. So I'm going to flip this over. As you can see, I come over the corner a little bit. So I'm going to open this up. I'm going to hold this down right at the corner. Then I'm going to recrease that. So we flip this over, that fixed that. So now we're about even on each side, all the way up. So if we like this, then we continue on. If you need to make any other adjustments, feel free to do so now. That's perfectly fine. So at this point what we're going to do is we're going to make the top. So we're going to take the top and right above the one here, or this border, right at that green line, we're going to fold this back. So I'm going to go right to that border. I'm going to fold that back. Okay? And it's really just the center we've got to crease down. The sides we're actually going to lift back up. So this is where we are so far. We've only folded the border. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take these tabs on the side. So we're going to leave the middle down. We're going to pick these up. So we're on the back side, so we're going to hold this down. We're going to lift these up. But we're going to do this on this side. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So we're going to hold the center down, lift this up, and you're going to see it's going to kind of bind right here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to lift it up as much as we can get. It'll allow us. Then we're going to crush the back down. So we're going to fold that. Do the same on this side. Lift that up as much as it'll let us. And then fold that down. So this is what we have so far. The back side. See how it just crushed folds down. Front side. Okay, so what we need to do now is we're going to work on the shoulders a little bit. So I'm going to take this piece here and I'm going to fold this back so that we still have a little flat. I don't want it to come to a point up the top. It can come to a point down here, but not at the top. Right? So I'm going to fold that back a little bit. I'm going to do the same to this side. Fold that back. And now what I'm more concerned with is making these the same. So is this side the same as this side? Or vice versa. And that's about the same. Okay, on the sides here, this white border we're going to fold back. So once we have a good crimp there, we're going to fold this back. Just the white border, just like that. And if this comes off, we have to refold that and fold that back. Just like so. We're going to do the same to the other side. We're going to make sure we get a good crease up here. I'm going to fold this back. Like so. Down here, we're going to fold these borders back. Okay, so this is where we are so far. starting to take shape. It's looking more like a dress. Here, if you wanted, we could pull in the waist a little more, and I think I want to do that. We could have done this a little earlier, but we're going to do this now. So I'm going to flip this over, and if we want to tighten up the waist, we're just going to take this lower fold here, the bottom part of the dress, and we're going to push this in more. And then we will crimp that down. We'll do the same to both sides. Push that in more. Then we're going to check on the back side to see if that's about where we want it. I think that's pretty up. It's not quite even, so I'm going to even this out real quick. That's better. That looks even. Okay. So I think that's a good correction. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to work on the top. So we need to make this little bust here. So what we're going to do to make the top part pop out is we're going to take these pleats and we're going to push on them from the back side. So I'm going to take my finger, looking at the front because I want to make sure it looks right, I'll start on one side. I'll hold one side. I'll use my index finger to push the back side. I'm going to do the other side. I'm going to make sure this part goes back, just like so. And if we think that's too much, we can push this back. Push that back down a little bit. So we want this to look a little more natural. Just like so. Okay, so one other touch up. These are nice. I mean, you could stop right here, but the other thing we should do is take this part of the dress here that's away from the center, and we're going to kind of roll this back. This is going to give it more of the 3D look. This is ideal to take a pencil and just kind of roll this back if you got a thin pencil, or you can just use your finger like I'm doing. We're going to roll this back. And if you work this enough, this is a model that you can get to stand up. This is one of the reasons why we go right to the corner when we're folding the back side of the bottom of the dress. Because if you go short, then it tends to fight the stand. It won't allow it to stand up. Well, this is basically it. At this point, you're just kind of reshaping it, making it look the way you want. And like I said, you could get this to stand if you work this back a little bit, but I don't usually do that. You can head these down and we can pair this up with our male figure. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time.